A girl in the Brownsville, Texas area school district was allegedly set to be punished for sitting during the Pledge of Allegiance. And the Brownsville Area School District announced just yesterday that it's not actually going to discipline students who refuse to stand during the Pledge of Allegiance, according to the Associated Press. The announcement came just hours after and it's Brownsville, Pennsylvania, not Brownsville, Texas. The announcement came just hours after the ACLU sued the Western Pennsylvania School District on behalf of a middle school student. She's an unnamed 13-year-old girl who was scolded and given detention, allegedly, because she didn't want to stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. And the girl refused to recite it because she was disillusioned with the way the country was being run. Interesting that a 13-year-old would even be this politically aware.
Yeah, I think it might have something to do with mom and dad.
You think so? Her mother did complain to school officials, but the district upheld the punishment at an initial school board meeting, but now it appears that they're going back on it. District Solicitor James Davis said the students have the right to sit silently during the pledge, and he's working to resolve this. Now, if we look back at 1943, the Supreme Court ruled that compelling students to recite the Pledge of Allegiance violated their First Amendment rights. I actually had I have a couple stories with this. Number one, in elementary school, Lewis, I remember there was a time when it would come over the public address system that everybody should stand and we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance, and you had to put your right hand over your heart and the whole thing. You remember that?
I do.
Did you do that when it happened, or did you try to instigate hijinks as you often did?
Oh, I'm sure I was instigating hijinks and up to all sorts of shenanigans, but
sure.
I did comply.
Now, let's say it was today, which I think is not done anymore. Mm-hmm. From the people I talked to, the Pledge of Allegiance is no more, at least in the school districts where we went. Would you stand and recite it, or would you sit? Being a connoisseur of politics and a kind of scholar of the Constitution, as you are now.
Well, there are things in it I just don't agree with. So
like what?
How could I? Like one nation under God.
So that's the part you have a problem with. Interesting. You know, I spoke at a couple of places recently where I'm just kind of hanging around, greeting people, and all of a sudden everybody turns and faces a flag that was in the room that I didn't even notice was in the room, and starts reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. And I was very uncomfortable with it. Number one, because I didn't know that these organizations did that type of thing. People who have been invited to different types of speaking gigs probably could guess what some of these organizations were. And I just kind of stood there. I wasn't disrespectful in any way, but I just stood there quietly and waited for it to be done. At one of them, after the Pledge of Allegiance, they went right into "My country, 'tis of thee," and then a chaplain came out and actually did a prayer.
Wow.
Now, of course, I didn't partake in any of that stuff, and then I just did my speech, and I knew it wasn't going to be the right gig, so to speak. I was asked to then join the organizations. I said I would think about it. But this is, I think, it would almost be weird now, wouldn't it, Natan, if we were told that kids were, like I have a little sister who's 8. If she told me that now in class they all have to stand up and do the Pledge of Allegiance, it seems so out of place now compared to when we were in elementary school, don't you think?
I agree, although I have to say that, for the most part, I got away with just doing that thing that people do at birthday parties when people sing happy birthday and you're just like, when you're doing that, I could usually get away with just doing that.
Yeah.
And, thinking about something else.
Yeah.
So
what did you usually think about during the Pledge of Allegiance, Lewis?
What mischief I was going to cause that day in school.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
How to get sent down to the principal's office within 5 minutes of the conclusion of the pledge.
5 minutes? Way too long.
Okay, so I think it's good that this girl is not going to be punished. She has the right to sit if she wants. It is certainly no part of public schooling to be forced to stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance, particularly with the phrase "under God."
Absolutely.
Good for her, even if I disagree with her about why she's disillusioned about the direction of this country. That would be an interesting debate. Me debating a 13-year-old about why she's disillusioned with the country.
I'll make some calls. We'll see if we can get her on.
Please go to facebook.com/David Pakman Show. Also, davidpakman.com/May1. You can get a membership and a hoodie like the one Lewis is wearing at a significant discount, I must say. We'll take a break and be back with plenty more after this.
The David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com.